In the 5th chapter of Pirkei Avot, we are told that our forefather Abraham was tested by God with 10 trials. The Mishnah doesn't enumerate what they are, nor is it obvious in the Torah, except for one case, and that is the end of this week's Parsha, where the Torah explicitly says, Vaylokim Misat Abraham, that God tested Abraham. And how did he test him? He spoke to him, and he said, I want you to take your son, your only son, the one that you love, Yitzchak, and bring him up on the mountain that I will show you. Bring him up as an offering. And Abraham traveled for 3 days, and he came to Har Moriah. He was with Yitzchak and another 2 attendants, but they remained at the bottom of the mountain. And he went up, and he prepared an altar, and he placed Yitzchak, who in fact was already a mature man in his 30s, placed him upon the altar, and was about to slaughter him as an offering when it was aborted. An angel called out to him, Abraham, Abraham, I know that you are God-fearing. And he brought a ram instead of Yitzchak. This particular trial is really the subject of a great deal of confusion and mystery. Why would God ask Abraham to do such a thing? Abraham, who fought his entire life against idolatry and certainly against human sacrifice, child sacrifice, and yet this is how God tested him. And he passed the test, and he went ahead and he did it. In the Talmud in Tractate Gittin, there's a discussion about a verse in Psalms where King David says, Ki alecha haragnu kol hayom. For you, God, we, the Jewish people, are killed each and every day. We go to our deaths because of you, to sanctify your name. And it gives a number of examples. And one very moving example is a case that happened during the times of the Romans, where a particular Jewish woman has 7 sons. And she and her sons are captured by the Roman governor. And he calls in the eldest son. And he says, I want you to bow down to this idol in front of me. And the son quotes a verse from the Torah, and he says, we can't do it. And he's taken out and he's executed. The second son comes, and again the governor says the same thing. And the child quotes another verse. We don't worship idolatry, and he's taken out. And so with the third and the fourth and the fifth and the sixth, till there's just one child left. And by this stage, the governor looks ridiculous. He hasn't been able to convince any of these people to worship his God. So he tries to trick the child, and he says, you know what, I'll drop my ring, and you'll pick up the ring, and it'll look like you're worshiping the idolatry when really you're just picking it up. But the child refuses to go along with this ploy, and he says, I'm not doing it. And he's taken out to be slaughtered. And the mother runs after him and hugs him and says, you go and tell Abraham. I want you to go and tell Abraham in Shemaim in heaven that he brought one altar, he made one altar, but I have made 7 altars. I have given 7 of my children. I have in fact offered them up, so to speak. And then she jumped off a roof and committed suicide in terrible grief and suffering. And perhaps what the story tells us is that the ability of the Jewish people for self-sacrifice, be it to actually give up their lives physically, or even to give of themselves spiritually for Hashem, this all comes because Abraham passed this test. He was able to place within the Jewish people an ability to be able to sacrifice for Hashem, for God. And sometimes we have to do that. And people go out of their way to protect the Jewish people. Please God, we shouldn't have to have any more sacrifices. But nevertheless, the merit of Abraham stands us in good stead until this very day. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom.